Appalachian Wellness, for a new tomorrow and a new you. Our specialty is you. I'm Raymond Owenbrink. I'm the president and owner of Appalachian Wellness. And today we're going to talk about chronic inflammatory response syndrome, CIRS, and volatile organic compounds, the dangers that these cause. These are the ultimate ninja. Once CIRS is established, things as seemingly innocuous as volatile organic compounds, uh, VOCs, are frequently but not always produced by pathogenic species, disease-causing species like mold and conditions. Uh, they trigger flares of the CIRS process with worsening of your symptoms, worsening of your VCS, visual contrast sensitivity, and worsening of your lab markers, your blood markers. An important concept to note is these VOCs can be subliminal, and they don't always have to be caused by fungi or other things of this nature. Subliminal means below the ability of the senses to detect. You may not be able to smell it, but that doesn't mean it's not there and not making you worse. And yet it can still cause the inflammatory cascade and amplification common with CIRS by way of the complements as part of the immune system. A patient living near a power plant burning coal produces various sulfoxides. Some of these can be triggered. Subtle changes in meteorologic conditions, maybe the wind shifts and some of that sulfoxide plume is being blown your way. Being exposed to plasticizers, common in new cars, buildings, carpeting, etc., that have not yet finished outgassing their VOCs. They may also serve as triggers. And again, they may not be at a level that you can smell, but if you feel like you're just getting worse when you go in a certain building, that's the ninja at work. These VOCs are very small molecular weight entities. They're tiny chemicals that are not triggering a classic antibody-mediated immune reaction, including the IgE or allergic reaction, but they are engaging the complement cascade of the immune system, which we'll talk more about in a bit, with its inherent amplification, read severely symptomatic on an immediate basis without any prior warning by a subliminal, below the threshold of detection, exposure. You don't smell it, you don't know it's even there until you're getting sick. Again, you can't smell it, discern its presence, know it's there, but boy, if you suddenly feel yourself getting worse, it's not all in your head. This assassin, by the way, is targeting you and you alone. Other people will sit there and be absolutely fine, not have any symptoms at all. Remember, CIRS affects about 25% of the population. And when you have CIRS, my wife and I both have it, and there are certain places that she'll be triggered and I won't have a problem. We'll go somewhere else, I'll be triggered and she won't have a problem. This is a tailor-made ninja. He's only after you. And again, nobody else can discern it. Everybody else, including your doctors, think you're crazy. But you know better. And we in modern medicine who have studied so long and hard don't understand this. We think of these neurotic, needy people as being crazy, but they're not. Crocs get sick too is an adage I was taught way back in residency, and it's an adage to stick to. Just because you don't understand doesn't mean it's not going on. And unfortunately, physicians tend to react to ignorance with arrogance. I'm a physician. If I don't know it, it can't be important. These poor folks are suffering. They've been kicked around. They needed to be treated with compassionate understanding and respect, which is what you will find at Appalachian Wellness because we understand. The absolute initial and most important step in dealing with biotoxin illness, CIRS, is identification of and isolation from the source of the toxin exposure. Identification does not necessarily mean specifically what species of mold or molecule in the VOC system triggers you. It just needs to know kind of what's going on, what areas you can't go to. We know of certain molds that are triggers. Okay, and even if we can't necessarily find the specific mold and we know that certain biotoxins are going on, this has caused great controversy in the legal system. And unfortunately, a lot of very sick people exposed to mold have been left hanging without any type of recourse. It just simply means knowing what, where, when to avoid. If there are riverbeds that dry up during the summer or during the winter, and you start getting sick at about that time, there may be some Pfiesteria, cyanophila, something going on in that riverbed that's now drying up. Molds and these microorganisms release these toxins when they're under stress. Don't use bleach on mold because it can cause VOC release as well. White vinegar works better than bleach when you're trying to clean this stuff up. Unfortunately, this is also, this elimination is the most expensive and difficult step. Somebody who's been ill, perhaps unable to work, has exhausted their financial resources from going from doctor to doctor, now must choose between leaving their home, place of work, place of worship, place of education, etc. And a lot of schools are affected with damp building syndrome for an undetermined period where, with possible extensive and expensive remediation that's being taken that you're on the hook for, because most insurance companies have written riders into their policies at this point that they're not, going to be liable for mold-related illness or for fixing the problem of a moldy home. They say that's not our problem, and it's a crime in my opinion. Remember, you will not improve without getting rid of the source of exposure. This disease will make you suffer tremendously as it shortens your life. The final outcome after great suffering will be a premature and painful demise. This may seem dramatic. It cannot be overstated. It's simply the truth. Medical schools frequently teach that the best clinicians are those who obtain the most thorough, detailed, and focused history. We're taught that the patient will tell you what's wrong if you listen to them properly. The trick lies in teasing out the essential, valuable information. And we at Appalachian Wellness thank you for taking the time to very carefully complete your pre-visit questionnaires as accurately and completely as possible before each visit. Treating SIRS, things change between visits, and I want to be able to pick them up before you get worse. I know these questionnaires, these forms that I have online are very, very detailed. I designed them myself. I've filled them out myself. It takes a long time. Please don't put handcuffs and a blindfold on us and ask us to help you. You have to cooperate and do your part. We use this information. We track this information carefully, and we're hoping to be able to use the information you provide us today to help others in the future as we do look-back research on our results so we can help you and others better in the future.